Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for coming here for this interaction. I think I hate to disappoint you all, but I will by saying that I have nothing to say. However, if any of you have anything to ask me on anything, I will be willing to respond. I see that Maha has raised her hand even before I said anything. Pardon? Pardon? To see you regularly, what better than seeing you regularly here? It makes my day. Yes, Maha.
Sir, has the External Affairs Minister said that India is all right with talks with Taliban, that is the US talking to Taliban as far as the Afghan reconciliation is concerned? And are there no concerns for India because the part of the Taliban team would also include Haqqani network?
What I would suggest is that the statement by the External Affairs Minister is put on the website of the Ministry of External Affairs, and this can be seen, number one. Now, as regards our approach to the reconciliation process in Afghanistan, let me try and encapsulate it for your benefit. And that is that we do understand the need for reconciliation in Afghanistan, and we have said it repeatedly that we would welcome any efforts towards reconciliation, and this reconciliation should include all Afghan parties. It should be Afghan-led and Afghan-controlled. Also, we've said that as far as we are concerned, this reconciliation process should involve following what are known as the red lines which have been agreed to between Afghanistan and the international community. And these red lines, if you would like me to reiterate, are A, that the process should be transparent, Afghan-led, inclusive. It should include those who are ready to abjure violence, and we would be willing to see that it includes all Afghan parties, including those who are currently out of the mainstream but wish to abjure violence and join the mainstream, and this includes the Taliban. Yes. Okay. What? No. Only with those with the mics can ask.
Sorry. Some confusion. You were just looking in the. I just wanted to check. Anything on there's some Indians were killed in Afghanistan, in Kabul. Is there anything on that as yet, sir?
Yeah, I do regret to inform you that yesterday morning, in the course of an attack on a housing compound in Kabul, which housed foreigners, 3 Indian nationals were killed. Let me try and say, yes, the 3 were Mr. Gilaji Sandeep, who was working as a waiter, and he is from Andhra Pradesh. Mr. Chakrabarti Kaushik, who was a laundry manager, he is from West Bengal. And the third is Mr. Gurudi Naveen Kumar, who was the front office manager, also from Andhra Pradesh. These were among the more than 50 Indian nationals who were working there through a contractor. They were providing various services at the housing compound. What we have, our embassy is in touch with their employer to try and assist them in completing the legal formalities and the medical formalities before they repatriate the dead bodies to back to their hometowns. Yes, Nidhi?
I just wanted to ask you on the Snowden story. On the day that the story initially broke, you gave a very strong statement saying that if there is any violation of privacy of Indian privacy laws, then it would be unacceptable. But we heard the foreign minister yesterday say that this is not snooping, that this is scrutiny. He seemed to be taking a different stand from the initial MEA reaction. So what is the government of India's position on this? Has it been diluted? It seems that the foreign minister is justifying the American snooping.
All those adjectives you use in terms of describing the external affairs minister are yours. I don't think he used any of those words in terms of justification, etc. and all. Our view remains what we have said previously, that we were concerned at these reports. Also, that this would be taken up, and as you are aware, and the external affairs minister was only elaborating about his discussion with the Secretary of State during their last meeting. Also, we had indicated to you that this will be discussed because these are technical issues and need to be discussed in a technical forum, and we had indicated to you that the cyber security dialogue was the forum for discussion of these, and that remains our position. I hope I have been able to clarify that. Yes, Ranjit?
Just a follow-up to that question. There are reports that Indian embassy in Washington was also under NSA surveillance. So have you verified the authenticity of the reports, and any response to that?
Yeah. Let's first let me put a caveat in terms of while this is a follow-up to Nidhi's question, this is a separate issue. The issue that Nidhi was talking of was in terms of the metatext and assessment of metatext by US agencies, which is a different issue, and that was what was the response that we gave previously, and that was also the issue that the External Affairs Minister was responding to in terms of his discussions with Secretary Kerry. Now, as regards the media report that you are mentioning about, and this is a separate issue about our embassy, yes, we have seen and studied media reports of our embassy in Washington being amongst a list of diplomatic missions which were intrusively monitored by US agencies. Obviously, we are concerned at such disconcerting reports, and we will certainly raise with US authorities these serious allegations. Yes, Rajiv?
Antonys visiting China. This is important considering that he'll be the first defense minister in 7 years to visit China. What is his diplomatic brief and what are the MEA inputs?
I think we've been through this before. It is not the norm or the approach that we follow in trying to tell you what are the intragovernmental inputs that are provided. B, I do appreciate your interest in matters relating to the defense, but there is a full-fledged division there that can respond to the specifics that you would like to respond to. I certainly am not responsible for the functioning of that department. Yes, Mr. Venkatnarayan.
Can you tell us something about Basil Rajapaksa's upcoming visit tomorrow? What is he going to do, and who is he going to meet, and are you going to be able to say something about Mr. Menon's visit to Colombo? Thanks.
You are aware that India and Sri Lanka have regular high-level consultations, and the visit of Mr. Basil Rajapaksa comes in that context. He is likely to have meetings here in Delhi with various ministers. This is a work in progress, but he certainly will meet the External Affairs Minister, among others. As regards what he will discuss, you know my answer to that, but you'd still have ventured to probe me on that matter, and I will desist from falling for that bait, because it is our usual practice that we would respond at the outcome of the discussions rather than prejudge what they will discuss. As regards any other visit, if they deal with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I will respond, but you have referred to a visit other than by the Ministry of External Affairs, and my answer to that remains what I told Rajiv, which is my limited ambit of discussion is either matters relating to the Ministry of External Affairs or the Prime Minister of India or the Vice President and President. These are the areas through which we in the External Publicity Division are responsible for disseminating. So I would beg your pardon that I will not be able to respond to those specifics that you are asking about other visits. Yes, ma'am.
Will Mr. Rajapaksa call on the Prime Minister?
As I said, I can confirm the meeting with the External Affairs Minister. His program, for the rest of his program, is still evolving, and should we have such a meeting, we will certainly let you know. At this stage, I can confirm to you the meeting with the External Affairs Minister. Yes, Vishal.
Sir, it's been reported that Russia offered assistance in disaster management in Uttarakhand and rescue and relief, but this was declined by India. Your comments, please.
As you know, as a general policy, in case of rescue and relief operations, we have followed the practice that we have adequate ability to respond to emergency requirements. And therefore, and for a variety of reasons, we have not also in the past, unless there are specific circumstances, been able to accept offers of assistance for rescue and relief. However, as you know, such events are cataclysmic in nature and they have a longer term impact. So beyond the rescue and relief phase, there are other phases. These are rehabilitation, reconstruction, and so on. And if relief and other measures are provided for those elements, we will examine them and how they fit into the broader plan in terms of rehabilitation and reconstruction in the region, and take a call at that stage, rather than say that this was for all times, etc. I hope I've clarified our position on that. Yes, Maria?
It's regarding the Italian Marines. Today is 90 days of the beginning of the investigation of NIA. According to some speculation, there are some obstacles regarding the Italian witness. And I would like to know if there are any updates and if the 90 days are mandatory or not for the investigation. Thanks.
Maria, frankly, I must confess that for once I'm not able to respond to your questions because, again, this is a complex matter which deals with several parts of our executive as well as judiciary. Now, whether certain dates are mandatory or not, it's for the judiciary to make a call on that. As far as whether there are some shortcomings or inability of any witnesses to come, I suggest you need to contact those who are in a position to make those witnesses come, and that is, in this case, the Italian government. After all, those witnesses, etc., may also be employees of that government. And it is easier for them to facilitate that. We can only make those requests. It is, and let me reiterate it again, it is always our desire to try and quickly resolve this case, which is unique in nature, it's sui generis, we do not want this to impinge on other aspects of our relationship, and we stand ready to work with Italy to try and facilitate in a manner which is possible under our judicial system, so that an outcome which is judicially determined is arrived at the earliest.
Yes, sir, there is a meeting between Sartaj Aziz and Salman Khurshid at Brunei. Whether it was decided that India would resume the composite dialogue in the format of composite dialogue process with Pakistan?
I don't know where you heard this, because what is available as an outcome of that dialogue is available in terms of the statements made by various, both the External Affairs Minister and by Mr. Sartaj Aziz there. A video is available, you could have a look. As far as we are concerned, we are awaiting the dates for different aspects of the resumed dialogue. And that's the dialogue that we've been pursuing so far. I don't know of anything else that you are saying about, because what's on the table is the continuation of the resumed dialogue, because as you perhaps are aware, the resumed dialogue started immediately in September 2012. That was the third round of the resumed dialogue. It began with the meetings of the commerce secretaries. Subsequent to that, there were meetings which were scheduled relating to the Tulbul navigation and the Vular barrage. That did not take place. That was perhaps to be in early February or early February, and they could not be at that time pursued because we had indicated that our lead negotiator in that was unable to continue because he was retiring end of the month in January, and therefore we had requested for fresh dates. Those were the only two elements of the resumed dialogue that were agreed on. There remain other elements of the resumed dialogue where we now have to work on dates, and that's the issue that is being discussed and focused on. Yes, sir.
A few countries have issued travel advisories for Egypt. Are we concerned about our citizens in the country, and have we had any discussions with the government over the constitutional crisis?
Couple of things. It is not our practice to revert to advisories unless we deem the situation is so difficult that it makes it absolutely necessary for us to indicate that there is no need for Indians to travel, and in such cases we have. In this case, we have not. However, our ambassador there is in touch with the Indian community. As you are perhaps aware, there is an Indian community, but not a very large one, and they have indicated to them the areas where these protests are taking place, so that for the present they avoid those areas. Now, as regards the situation itself, this is a matter for the Egyptians to decide internally, and so we have not taken it up. If that is your question, asking us whether this has been taken up bilaterally, the answer is no, because it is not our practice and policy to intervene in matters which are essentially in the domain of internal jurisdiction of a country. Thank you very much.